Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. From Schaffhausen, Switzerland, in a 20-piece limited edition, we are discussing the Swiss Alp watch Black DLC from Moser Cie, a company that makes 1,500 watches a year. This is a micro edition, a variation on its famous send-up of the Apple Watch. This is a timepiece that is Black DLC, mechanically powered, and minimalist. Measurements, of course, 38.5 millimeters from side to side, relatively thin at only 10.6 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug 50 millimeters, and the actual width of the strap is 22 millimeters if you want to go custom. Throw it on the wrist, and it's difficult to describe how a non-round watch wears. As you can see, it's very much like a cushion case on the wrist, and I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference, even though it's a fairly big watch, and it can definitely hold up against a bigger wrist. For some reason, it doesn't wear large. Most non-round watches wear large. This one doesn't. It's also low enough that it could fit underneath a cuff, and all blacked out. It's the kind of watch that might even be formal enough to pull off that look. Certainly the minimally adorned dial lends itself to formal attire. Here's your down the barrel shot, your over the top shot, very comfortable. Taking a quick look at the strap, it's a fascinating piece. No surprises on the top, high grade, large rectangular scale alligator leather. There is a sheer side showing the layers of the leather, a monotone stitch. It's matte black. On the underside, a wonderful suede material in a vivid scarlet red. It's handsome, looks good, and feels good. There's a matching Moser stainless steel blackened pin buckle that matches the case in many regards, and you can see the attention to detail is superb with satin finish across the top, a polished pin, and polished bevels. Rolling over to the case, it's all of high polish. Now, of course, there is a Silicon Valley prototype for this particular design, and externally, the watch is true to that inspiration. Of course, this is all in good fun. It's not in earnest, so don't take it too seriously. Moser doesn't. We have a wire-style set of lugs, a simple Moser crown, which is the only part of the case that is standard Moser. That you'll see that crown design inverse conical on a lot of Moser watches. The dial, featuring faceted and polished leaf hands, is surprisingly easy to read. Often polished hands on a gloss black dial can get lost, but here from any angle and any light, the contrast is really high. Now, this dial recaps a style originally pioneered on the Swiss Alp watch Zzz edition, which is designed to represent the standby mode of an Apple Watch. So an unadorned dial is normally a Moser signature, and it carries over here, but there is a specific reference being made to an article of Silicon Valley tech as well as pop culture, and that is the sleep mode on your Apple Watch. Turning the watch over, you can really see that it's an all of high polish. It's stainless steel and DLC, and it's important to note that PVD is a process for depositing a coating. It's not a material. So you have everything from relatively soft and scratch-prone physical vapor deposition materials to diamond-like carbon, which is what you have here, which is extremely resistant to scratching. Inside, we have a Moser manufacturer caliber. Now, this is where they turn the tables on the Apple Watch. This is how this watch will live to be 300 years old, even as the Apple Watch will be lucky to live to be 3 years old. This is a lifetime product. The movement, properly sized and shaped for the case. Moser, though they only make 1,500 watches a year, is a complete manufacturer, so they build the movement to fit the case rather than adapting an existing movement. The timepiece does feature a 3-day manual wind power reserve, and you can see there's a power reserve indicator. The balance beats away at 18,000 vibrations per hour, which is a nice stately pocket watch beat rate. You can also see that there's a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index, so it's fairly shock tolerant for a dress watch. It also uses an overcoil hairspring, and it's adjusted in 6 positions, so in any orientation with respect to gravity, dial up, dial down, crown left, crown right, it's going to keep excellent and consistent time. That's the advantage of an overcoil. There's also a 14-karat gold escapement that's there to increase power reserve and reduce parasitic losses. So this is all a platform. The escapement, the balance, the hairspring, the bridge, it lifts out as a unit. So when your watch goes to a regional Moser servicing bureau, that regional Moser service provider is going to lift the whole platform out and put in a pre-serviced escapement and balance assembly from Schaffhausen so that you can reduce service intervals from months to weeks in many cases, because that component as an assembly can then be sent back to Switzerland to be serviced separately. So this is designed to speed you through service. Impressive. The escapement and the hairspring balance, all made by Moser. They own their own separate precision engineering company called Precision Engineering. And whereas Moser makes about 1,500 hairsprings a year for its own watches, it makes about 200,000 hairsprings for the industry as a whole. Now, there are handsome elements here that are easy to love, including the double-crested Côte de Genève. There's a machined bevel, but handsome bevel to the edge of the bridges, black polished screws, and then there's a lovely satination on the wheels, as well as the power reserve indicator. It does feature hacking or stop seconds, so though the watch does not have a seconds hand, you can stop the balance. Gorgeous, versatile, and at 30 meters water resistant. Not precisely a sports watch, but a sporty watch. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.